For this Baling Twine Crafts project, I'm making a macrame doorway curtain. I have a tension rod up here, and I've just used the basic macrame knots. There's a lot of great videos, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. But over the top is a Lark's knot, where you bring your ends together, put the loop over the top, and then bring the ends through the loop, so you'll have 2 strings hanging down from each loop. Now each knot uses 4 pieces of strings. These are square knots, so you need everything. You need the amount of loops that you have, or actually the amount of strings that you have hanging down, divisible by 4. So what I've done is these are alternating square knots, which give it the mesh type look. So one row I would do all of the pieces of twine, and on the next row I would leave 2 strings on each end open, so it gives it that mesh look. These are half square knots, and what I've done is I did the first 6 inches all in the square knots, and then I started to taper it. So I'm leaving 8 pieces of string on each end to continue the square knot, alternating square knots all the way down to the bottom. And then in the middle pieces, I've used the half square knots. And so to get to be able to do the half for the twists, on the first row, or the alternating row where I leave 2 pieces of string on each end free, that's where this one came from. Then I started on the edge and worked my way across, but I had an odd number, so that's where this came from. So to make the half square, so it'll twist on its own, you're always working from the left side. For the square knot, you do the left side, then the right side. But for the half square, you just work from the left side. So always, it's the same kind of thing, but just always from the left. And just keep working your way down. And so you can see it already starting to twist. They're not a worry. And I have kept the knots in my pieces of twine that had them because I wanted to work with the length. I may trim them off at the end, I'm not sure, but for right now that's where I'm doing. So I'm finishing up working on my taper of this side, and then I'll continue down with just the 2 or the 8 pieces of twine on the edges, and I'll do the same thing with this one so it'll be symmetrical. For finishing up on these half square knot spirals, I wanted to, they're taking them all the way to the floor, and I'm adding bells. Now I have left the knots in mine because I wanted the length of the twine, but I have trimmed off the little pom-pom-like ends of the knot, so it's just the knot in the twine. And then I just keep going over that bulk of it with the half knots. Now for the bell at the end, I've threaded a piece of twine through it, and I'm adding the bell so it barely hits the bottom of the ground. Take a piece of the orange, slip it through, pull it tight. Okay, now this is this is too long. It's gonna go past my bell. So I'm gonna trim this off. So just a couple finger widths is enough to keep it tied down. This long piece I'll pull through so it's short. Again, tuck the tails down and just keep wrapping them into the half knot. I may need to add some more blue here because I want to make sure that I have enough at the end to tie it off in a knot so that the knots don't come undone. So I'm going to add that now before I get any closer to the bottom. Again, just adding it through, pulling it tight. And I just need, again, a couple finger lengths to width to keep it pulled down. Continue with the half knots. And I've been taking the half knots as close to the bell as I can get them. That I'm going to call good. I'm going to let it twirl how it will. And so for tying off the ends, try to find the back side and then just do a basic knot. And pull it as absolutely tight as you can get it. And then just trim it off. So this macrame doorway curtain is all out of baling twine. Most of it is the half knots that twirl, and the edges and the top, which you'll see in a minute, are square knots. This is the final project. And here's the top. This doorway is, or this ceiling is 8 feet. And so that's the whole project. Thank you. Have fun.